Welcome to Campfire Tales. This week, I am telling a short but powerful Native American story that exists in several versions across different tribes. But the most well-known version comes from the Ojibwe Chippewa tradition. So, this is the story of the origin of the robin. There once was an old man who had an only son, who had come to that age which is thought to be most proper to make the long and final fast to secure through life a guardian or a spirit. The father was ambitious that his son should surpass all others in whatever was deemed wisest and greatest among his people. To accomplish his wish, he thought it was necessary that the young son should fast a much longer time than any of those renowned for their power or wisdom whose fame he coveted. He therefore directed his son to prepare with great ceremony for the important event. After he had been several times in the sweating lodge and bath, which were to prepare and purify him for communion with his good spirit, he ordered him to lie down upon a clean mat in a little lodge expressly provided for him. He enjoined upon him at the same time to endure his fast like a man, and promised that at the expiration of 12 days he should receive food and the blessing of his father. The boy carefully observed the command and laid with his face covered, calmly awaiting the approach of the spirit which was to decide his good or evil fortune for all of the days to come. Every morning, his father came to the door of the little lodge and encouraged him to persevere, dwelling at length on the vast honor and renown that must ever attend him, should he accomplish the full term of the trial allotted to him. To these glowing words of promise and glory, the boy never replied, but he lay without the least sign of discontent or murmuring until around the 9th day, when he addressed his father. My father, my dreams forebode evil. May I break my fast now, and at a more favorable time make a new one? The father answered, My son, you know not what you ask. If you get up now, all of your glory will depart. Wait patiently a little longer. You have but 3 days more, and your term will be completed. You know it is for your own good, and I encourage you to persevere. Shall not your aged father live to see you a star among the chieftains and the beloved of the battle? The son assented, and covering himself more closely, that he might shut out the light which prompted him to complain. So he lay till the 11th day, when he repeated his request. The father addressed his son as he had the day before, and promised that he would himself prepare his first meal and bring it to him by the dawn of the morning. The son moaned, and the father added, Will you bring shame upon your father when his sun is falling in the west? I will not shame you, my father, replied the son, and he lay so still and so motionless that you could only know that he was living by the gentle heaving of his breast. At the spring of day the next morning, the father, delighted at having gained his end, prepared a repast for his son and hastened it to set it before him. On coming to the door of the little lodge, he was surprised to hear his son talking to himself. He stooped his ear to listen, and looking through a small opening, he was yet more astonished when he beheld his son, painted with vermilion all over his breast, and in the act of finishing his work by laying on the paint as far back on his shoulders as he could reach with his hands, saying at the same time, My father has destroyed my fortune as a man. He would not listen to my requests. He has urged me beyond my tender strength. He will be the loser. I shall be forever happy in my new state, for I have been obedient to my parent. He alone will be the sufferer, for my guardian spirit is just one. Though not as big to me in the manner I desire, he has shown me pity in another way. He has given me another shape, and now I must go. At this moment, the old man broke in, exclaiming, My son, I pray you leave me not. but the young man, with the quickness of a bird, had flown to the top of the lodge and perched himself on the highest pole, having been changed into a beautiful robin. He looked down upon his father with pity beaming in his eyes and addressed him as follows: Regret not, my father, the change you behold. I shall be happier in my present state than I could have ever been as a man. I shall always be the friend of men and keep near the dwellings. I shall ever be happy and contented, and although I could not gratify your wishes as a warrior, it will be my daily goal to make you amends for it as a harbinger of peace and joy. I will cheer you on with my songs and strive to inspire in others the joy and lightness of heart I feel in my present state. This will be some compensation to you for the loss of glory you now expect. I am now free from the cares and the pains of human life. My food is spontaneously furnished by the mountains and the fields, and my pathway of life is through the bright, bright air. Then, stretching himself on his toes, as if delighted with the gift of wings, the sun caroled one of his sweetest songs and flew away into the forest. And this was the story of the origin of the robin. All right, let's get into the symbology of this story. And you might remember from the first Ojibwe story I told, Tanis and the Wendigo, that the robin, the little Opeechee, is clearly a very important and powerful symbol for the Ojibwe Chippewa tradition. So, in this story, the vision quest or the fasting as a spiritual rite, in Ojibwe tradition, young boys often undergo fasting as a sacred rite of passage to gain a vision or a guardian spirit. It's not necessarily about physical strength, but more about spiritual clarity. And this fast often represents the threshold between the childhood and spiritual adulthood. So, this liminal state where the soul is open to messages from the spirit world. And the medicine here is that when you're trusting personal timing and readiness, honoring when spirit is ripe for transformation, that's when it will actually happen. Now, the father's pressure. The father urges his son to fast beyond what is normal, beyond his normal strength, symbolizing how even well meaning guidance can be harmful when it ignores the individual limits and that soul timing that we just talked about. In the Ojibwe tradition, while elders guide the young, true growth actually comes when they themselves are ready to receive the teachings. And the deeper symbolic meaning here is the imbalance of the external authority, so the father, versus the son's inner knowing. And the medicine here is that there is a very big importance to listening to your own spirit and your own intuition over imposed expectations. Now, the son's transformation into a robin, rather than dying, the boy is transformed, and this is a symbol that is seen in many Ojibwe and Chippewa tales, where death is never the end, but rather a gateway into a new being. And so, the robin, the Opeechee, the has very symbolic levels even within itself. So the red breast of a robin is reminiscent of love, blood, sacrifice, spiritual warmth. It comes out in the spring, which is reminiscent of rebirth, hope, turning of seasons. It's a songbird, a voice that endures, brings joy and hope. So the medicine here is that even in loss, something new can be brought forward. The robin teaches us that the soul finds a way to fly forward, even in the face of loss. Overall, this story is really at its root about finding your own way against external expectations of your culture, expectations of your lineage, of your parentage. And I really just like the simplicity of this story and how clear it is of following your true nature. All right, I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did, and I will see you in the next campfire tale.